You are just one man, and one man who's constrained by the Constitution, the powers that the executive is supposed to have. So what really can you do as president legally, constitutionally, to address the problems that the country has, and specifically in regards to the Federal Reserve?
Yes.
Okay, in general, first, the president can do a lot. The president's in charge of foreign policy. He can bring the troops home. He doesn't have the congressional permission. The president can just say, whoa, stop. No more executive orders writing laws and regulations. Unconstitutional executive orders can be repealed by a president with another executive order. It's not writing anything new. But the most important thing, though, is I know it's a problem with numbers, and a lot of times people that have these views, they say, well, I like what you're saying, but these two other people, one of them will win, so therefore we have to vote for the lesser of two evils. But I'll tell you what happens in a country, and that is, or in any type of a movement or a revolution, and to me, we're in an intellectual revolution going on. But it isn't a 51% gain. It's probably about 10%. What percent do you think supported our revolution? Probably about 10% or less. So they established the leadership for other people to come along. And that is where we are. We're at that point. And it's an idea whose time has come. And this message is spreading. And the system we have is failing. So I'm very optimistic, especially when I go to the college campuses, because I know the generation that's getting ready to leave college right now, and even those ones who have been taken in with student loans, they strongly support this message, and that I'm very pleased with. So I tend to be optimistic, but I do not deny that there's a big battle ahead. But you do not know exactly how swiftly it moves. But we have laid the groundwork for that 10%. And the people like you in this room, the young people coming out of school right now, they are very supportive of this. So this can just rise up and overwhelm out of necessity. Just like I said 4 years ago. Who wanted to talk to me about the Federal Reserve and the incoming collapse of the financial bubble and the Federal Reserve? But now everybody wants to. The Federal Reserve, the president cannot get rid of the Federal Reserve. It would be a congressional function. But the president can do a whole lot. I have a bill in. Matter of fact, I've never advocated, closing down the Federal Reserve in one day. I think it's sort of like I talk about medical care. It should be a transition. People who are dependent, work our way out of it. Close the Federal Reserve down after 100 years, as bad as it is, that would make things worse immediately. But I think you should have the right to use honest money. When I want to legalize the Constitution, legalize gold and silver, take taxes off gold and silver, and if you love the Federal Reserve notes and think you want to save and deal in that currency, you could. But right now today, if you deal in gold and silver, even if it's American old gold and silver, you can be put in prison, and they'll be charging you with potential terrorism. That's how absurd it is. A constitutional president, would not enforce those kind of laws and work very hard for the competition, but most importantly, it would curtail the need for the Federal Reserve to inflate, and that is cut off the deficits, because that's what encourages big government. It encourages the war and the entitlement system. The Federal Reserve is the brake. The gold standard is the brake on the spending, because if you didn't have the Federal Reserve to artificially stimulate the economy, print the money, and lower interest rates artificially, what would happen? Interest rates would go up because there wouldn't be enough money. And Keynesianism said never let interest rates go up. But rising interest rates is a signal. So if you had the gold standard, interest rates would go up and the country would have to quit spending. They couldn't fight wars that they couldn't afford. They couldn't promise the sky for everybody, free houses, free medical care, and everything else. So a lot could be done, but the truth is you have to change the hearts and minds of a lot of people. But the leadership usually requires 10%, and I'm very optimistic that we're a bit above 10% right now. Thank you very much.